Hello and welcome back to what I wished I'd known about self-publishing before I got started, or its variations thereof. I am Karlie with Dragon Key Press, and today I am going to take you to Amazon Author Central. So you can see I am pulled up on mine already. It'd be a little hard for me to actually show you the how-tos of setting up a new account, but there is a handy-dandy article on Kindlepreneur that will actually tell you all about how to do that. So people may ask, what is the purpose of this Author Central thing? And it basically is a place where you can take all of your books and things that you've published online and claim them on Amazon so that they actually link to your name and to your author page on Amazon. You may have noticed when you look at different authors online, you can actually click on their name and it will take you to a place that has all their books listed, their little about section. It will have a follow button. Some of them actually link to blogs or other things, show you all of the different editions of the books available. They can give you recommendations of who to follow, who may be similar, and so forth and so on. As you can see here, I've got the podcast stuff, and there's actually quite a bit of information you can go through. So I'm going to kind of talk to you, walk you through it, kind of going off of the website here. But creating that Amazon author page and the Amazon Central can be pretty daunting for those who don't know how to do it. Basic gist is the Amazon Author Central allows you a platform to add editorial reviews from your book, super critical by the way, and you can track your book rankings, see and respond to any reviews so you don't have to go to each book individually and click on them to look at the reviews. If you so desire, you don't have to look at reviews if you don't want to, but many first-time new authors and some even seasoned like to go and see what people are saying about their stuff. It also gives you the option to chat with your readers, and you can fix issues with your book listings if you find any. Okay, so the question maybe is, what's that Amazon author page now that I've explained what Author Central is? According to Kindlepreneur, it's basically your personal feature page on Amazon. It's a way to help centralize all of your books and everything else, as I kind of explained. People can learn more about you, see the books that you have, your blog, website, social media. You can all link it there. So it's basically almost like a landing page on Amazon for you as an author. And it's actually really quite crucial. People, like I said, can subscribe, and anytime you have something new that you add to whatever, a new book, a blog post, etc., it will alert your followers that you have something new going on. I don't know how many of you have actually gotten emails from Amazon saying, hey, your favorite author just published da-da-da-da-da, or new blog post from blah, 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 blah. That's kind of how they get all that information, is by having them follow your author page. You can go and look around at different ones. This website has an example of Jeff Goins, but I already showed you mine over here. And you want this to be as professional as you possibly can. You're going to want to make a compelling biography. So if you have not made a biography, which is pretty much going to go in all your books or promotional materials or pretty much anything that has anything to do with promoting you and your books, you need to get on that ASAP. You're going to want a professional author photo. No, the little snapshot you got from some Christmas party is not going to count. You might be able to get away with something from one of those photo booths, but it's best if you can get somebody who can make it look at least somewhat professional. You can add book trailers, promotional videos. Some people like book trailers, some people don't. I showed you that it can give you the feed to your blog posts. We'll talk about that in a minute. And of course, all of your books, which you will have to claim through Author Central, but I'll help you walk through that in a minute. Then, of course, the follow button which you always need to make sure works correctly, and any social media and website information you feel you need to actually share. Okay, I'm just going to kind of read off what's going on this website. It's a lot easier to show you when you're doing this from scratch, but since I already have one, I don't need a second one. So, basically speaking, it's free to do this. You don't have to pay anything, none of that. It is free, which is good news for any self-publishing author because, let's face it, most of us have limited budgets. If you already have an Amazon account, you can actually sign in with your Amazon username and password. And if you don't, then of course you say, hey, I'm a new customer, and then you fill out all the information. Make sure you read the terms and conditions, and then click accept. And yeah, I do really recommend you read the terms and conditions because you never know, things might change. They usually are pretty good about updating you if there are any changes, but too many people don't read it, so, just read it. Then it will give you the option to enter your author name, a pen name if you're using it, or a book title into the search field, and a list of possible books will appear. This is after your account gets all set up. And once it does, you can add titles by clicking on the Books tab in the navigation menu, selecting the blue button labeled Add a Book, etc. I'll go over that in a second. But when you're setting it up, you need to claim yourself. And if you have a book already there, try to claim that too. Select any one of your books to create the count. And yes, this works for books you are printing or publishing through Ingram Spark. They may not necessarily show up right away, but hey, they'll show up. Trust me, sometimes it just takes a bit. Give it a little bit if it's not there yet. But your book must be available for purchase on Amazon for you to be able to use Author Central Amazon account to set it up and to claim it. That means when you were doing Ingram or whichever publishing service you wanted to use, you need to make sure you click that extended distribution. Otherwise, it's not going to show up. Once you've got all this kind of set up, Amazon will send you a confirmation email to finish creating the account, verify it's you, blah, 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 blah. If you are going through a publisher, small or otherwise, they may contact your publisher as an additional measure to make sure you are who you say you are. And if they do, that usually takes 3 to 7 business days, not calendar days. But once you've got that all done, verification, etc., you're good. In the meantime, you can just add information to your author page and just know you can't add or make changes to books or blogs until your identity is confirmed and they know it's really you and not some guy down the street pretending to be you. Now, when it comes to setting up your author page, like I said, you need an interesting biography. Now, you still want it to be professional, but include things like your background, any awards, hobbies, proud projects, things that legitimize you as an author and can connect you with your reader. For example, over here I'm a graduate of Southern Utah University, and I received a creating writing degree with a minor in art. I'm a member of Sigma Tau Delta, which is the International English Honor Society, which, if you know anything about it, you know that you actually have to be invited in. You can't just apply. And then, of course, Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, another writing group called ANWA. Here's my little, I'm interested in all things magical, mysterious, elves, dragons. I love these particular authors, blah, blah, blah. Then I have a little bit about my hobbies, drawing, baking, watching old school TV shows, spending time with family, currently where I reside, and oh hey, random tidbit, I have a cat. But you can also add things like awards you may have received or things like that. And it's not a bad thing to occasionally update your biography. And I may do that myself because I've added some things to my little checklist of awesome stuff for authors. But just kind of keep an eye on that. Make sure you remember that you can update it and all that stuff once you get around it. All right. Next thing you're going to have is you need to know actually where to go to do that. When you are in your Amazon Author Central, you can actually kind of go to your profile And see, there's your author page stuff. You can show you the different places to go. You can actually build it for different places. Chrome apparently has an auto-translate thing. I don't personally use Chrome often because I just don't like it. But you can come and you can add and edit your biographies. For me, since it's already up there, I would have to edit instead of, add to. But I can add bio in a new language, and life is good. Just make sure you use plain text, no bold, no italics, no underlining, no fancy computer code, just plain out text, because otherwise it will freak out at you. The next thing you're going to want to do is put a picture or pictures, photos to your profile. So you can see I've got this one on mine. I probably should update it. It's kind of old, but you can just click on the, hey, I need a new picture, and woohoo, look, you can find something. Hopefully, fingers crossed, etc. I should probably say, hey, here's my most current author photo. Move it around, update it, blah, blah, blah. Just like on Instagram or wherever, Facebook, etc., you can actually go in there and crop it and make it all pretty and blah, all that good jazz. Not that it's really blah, blah, blah. It's just, ad nauseum, you keep saying it over and over again. So now I have an updated photo, got the biography. What else does our checklist say we need to have? Well, you can add actually more photos, but you need to make sure your photos are square. So you can go to your profile tab and add new photos. Over here, you can also add your videos, your trailers, etc. So now I actually have this one. I have a trailer that I did for a different book. We can say, hey, here's all the media I have. And it'll actually show you what you've uploaded, what you haven't. And you can add as many as you want, just don't go crazy. And when you're done, just click the little publish, okay, whatever button. But make sure you have at least one profile picture that looks professional. So keep that in mind. All right, then you're going to want to add your blog feed if you have a blog. And I do recommend having a blog. I use mine through blogger.com, and that's actually the website I use. I just mirror my domain name to the blog and use that as my website. So it's my blog, technically my newsletter at the moment, but it's nice to have something that, even if you only post on it every now and again, it's something nice to have so people can kind of get an idea of what's going on, of what's new, etc. And excuse me in the background, I'm making noises. Anyway, but this is for US markets only. And you have to have a .com address for your blog, like blogger.com or whatever. On the profile tab, find your blog, updates, add your blog, and then you're going to need the RSS feed address for your blog. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you how to do that because it's been a hot minute, but whatever blogging site you use should have a link to give that to you. If you have WordPress, which honestly I think is a lot harder than Blogger, you can add /feed// to your blog's URL. Like their example is Wacky Writer, and their https://wackyWriter.wordpress.com, and that then you would just add another /feed/, and that would do it there. If you're using Blogger like me, use the following formats. Replace your blog name with the name of your blog. So your blog name, like Blogspot, whatever, feeds, default, etc. You can kind of see what it is here. But if you really want to go and look at this page, which has a lot of information that I'm trying to summarize, just go to kindlepreneur.com/Amazon-author-central-page/. So you can see right there. And you will get all kinds of fun information that I'm basically trying to summarize. Adding videos is kind of the same thing. You just do it here on your videos and photos, it's nice that they've kind of centralized things since I first started doing all this. But your blog feeds, like I said, over here. If you have more than one blog, you can actually add more than one blog if you really, really want to, but I don't suggest it. For me, that's mine. And yeah, it's pretty easy. Once it's connected, it'll tell you when it was last updated. The connection, not the last post you posted, just keep that in mind. And life is good, all that jazz. Okay, we're going to keep going on. Adding a video is basically the same as adding a picture. Make sure you check that follow button. For mine, I'm already following myself. Click that button to make sure you're following yourself. And that's basically just kind of making sure that it actually works. This is going to be something your biggest fans will do. Some of them will just click on it just for kicks and giggles, or they're just curious about you. But hey, it's always nice to know people are actually paying attention to you and following you. But there's a lot more that goes into that with your whole Author Central stuff. So now that we've got that kind of profile thing, this all can be managed right here for your author profile on Amazon, which, as we said, it basically pulls out Amazon, something like this. Now you need to go back and say, hey, let's look at some of our marketing and reports. You can actually view sales ranking, things like that. I admit I haven't done hugely great in selling lately, but it'll tell you where your book sits in the different categories, etc. Some of mine don't have sales ranks because some of them aren't technically on sale or were taken off. But you can look at all of that kind of thing. Bookscan weekly sales report if you want a quick view of what things going on. If you do Kindle Unlimited, you can look at that there. This is where you're going to go for your Amazon advertising, which I haven't done yet, but we'll totally worry about that later. And you can also look at your customer reviews all in one place without, like I said, having to go to each individual book to see whether or not you like it or not, or want to read any of them. But now we're going to go to Author Central again. This is our main home. And I am now going to want to actually find my books. Because, hey, we need to add a book. You need to actually include all the versions that are possibly available on Amazon because you want to make sure people can find them. Not everybody likes just the hardcover or the paperback. They may like their Kindle. If you have an audiobook, you want to be able to link that all together. It makes it really nice. So, hardcover books, by the way, on Amazon are pretty new, but if you use Ingram, they are also available if you do the expanded distribution. So on the Books tab, scroll to the bottom of the bibliography and click Add a Book. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, hey, look, right there. You can view all the books. And now we can say, hey, let's find one of our books. Moving the Zoo is my most recent as of this particular moment. So I'm going to look for it, and we're actually going to say, look for it anywhere. It might not be up there because it was just published. So hey, now we're actually going to see all the books that are up there, and it's somehow automatically added Moving the Zoo for me, but you can actually see where there are some that I haven't added. If they're yours, make sure you add them. So this one, I'm going to say add my book. Since Moving the Zoo, like I said, already appears to be on there, let's see what else isn't there. Sometimes you have to put it in there twice, like I said there. So hey, sometimes it'll take a minute to show some of these. You can look and scroll through. Sometimes it may actually bring up books that aren't yours at all, like this one. This is not my book, but it's a potential suggestion because for some odd reason their algorithm thinks it could be mine. But it's not. So I just look at the ones that are mine and say, hey, add this title. We go back to home. It may take it a couple of days to update it, but hey, let's view all of my books. And hey, they're all pretty much mostly there. We'll show some more. I don't see moving the zoo on there yet, so let's double check to see if we can find it. I see it's not high on the algorithms yet, so we may actually have to look for it in a different way. Just know that when you first put a book up on any of these print-on-demand sites, etc., it may not show yet. On here it shows, but it may take it a while to actually show up on your thing. Because you look through here and it is not on there yet. But give it a week, and if it hasn't shown up by then go back through and look for it. Because according to this, it's on there. But we didn't see it there earlier. So just keep that in mind, and life will be good. There are a lot of other things you can do. If you're using pen names, the Kindlepreneur website actually will show you kind of how to do that. If you are a co-author, hopefully you were actually added on when it was set up. Otherwise, that's a pain in the butt to deal with. You can sometimes, when they feel like it, customize your author page URL. It's not currently available right now, but there are branding websites that have free plans you can kind of look at to help you do that yourself. For the editorial reviews, that will give you kind of an idea of how to do it. And the best way to kind of do it, some examples of things that actually look and these editorial reviews are things that are like from industry experts, professional reviewers, other authors, things like that, or even librarians or teachers. Anybody with a professional title can be considered an editorial review if you really want them to be. And you can also feature top reviews on that page if you so desire. They have rules. Usually between 6 to 10 reviews is a good number to go for. You can kind of get an idea of how to create beautifully formatted reviews if you so desire to go through and all this, because it kind of gives you a walkthrough and everything on how to do that. If you need to edit book details, this is a US only feature. You can do that as well. And this will kind of walk you through that. And then you can make your international pages once you have your professional author page set up. Like I said, or showed you over here, under the profile, it actually gives you the option to do new languages, that kind of thing. This website, which is actually part of Amazon, the Kindlepreneur, will kind of give you an idea of how to do that yourself. Drop-down menus, etc. And it's just a fun thing. They're associated, but not exactly at the same time with Amazon. But it's a great place to look, and don't be afraid to look at other author pages as kind of a thing to kind of look at and see what they've done, the kind of books they have. As it's fun to kind of look and see what they have available. Some authors will just post little snippet videos, them reading parts of their books or advertising their books, the book trailers, like I said. So I'll also show you what customers may have bought items from them, etc. And it's just a really great tool for everybody who kind of wants to see what you've got. But that's the basics of Amazon Author Central and making an Amazon author profile on Amazon. At that point, you do need to actually have something published to be able to go in and claim it as your own. It's good if you have an account. If you're doing through KDP, you should already have an account that you can actually use to log into Author Central as well. It's always kind of good to keep things all the same if you can on that end and not use 50 million different Amazon accounts to do everything, because then it gets too confusing. So just kind of keep things simple where you can, because this whole thing is complicated as is. But hopefully that gave you a better idea of how this all goes down, how to set this up, how to make it look decent and pretty. As always, if you need help, there is a pretty good section on that, how to help with your account, your author page, books, sales data, all that good jazz. And then you can change whatever you need to as you need to. But hey, that's Author Central. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, etc., feel free to leave comments or send me a message, email, etc. I am more than happy to receive them, and I will try to respond to them, even if all I do is thumbs up on YouTube or something. But hopefully you learned something useful, something new. And if you were confused about anything, feel free to let me know so I can clarify later. I am Karlie with Dragon Key Press, and I hope to see you next time.